Our youth group just finished studying the book of James. One of the highlights came from chapter 1, verses 19 through 25. My dear brothers and sisters, take note of this. Everyone should be quick to listen, slow to speak, and slow to become angry, because human anger does not produce the righteousness that God desires. Therefore, get rid of all moral filth and the evil that is so prevalent, and humbly accept the word planted in you, which can save you. Do not merely listen to the word, and so deceive yourselves. Do what it says. Anyone who listens to the word, but does not do what it says, is like someone who looks at his face in a mirror, and, after looking at himself, goes away and immediately forgets what he looks like. But whoever looks intently into the perfect law that gives freedom and continues in it, not forgetting what they have heard, but doing it, they will be blessed in what they do. The listening here seems to point to listening to and applying what the Word of God says. But listening is important in our other relationships with people as well. I'm sure you've all heard a teacher say at some point, God gave you 2 ears and 1 mouth because you should listen twice as much as you speak. So today, we are talking about learning to listen. In order to build good relationships, you must become a good listener. And in order to be a good listener, you must do these 5 things. Number 1, listen without interrupting. And this should be the case even if you know, or think you know, more than the person who is talking to you. Respect them enough to value what they say, and listen attentively until they are finished. Listening is a great sign of respect and genuine interest. Number 2, try to understand their point of view, their feelings, what they're thinking, and what their needs are. In other words, listen to understand them. Good listening is hearing what people actually think or mean or feel. Instead of trying to guess, politely ask them, am I understanding you correctly? Do you mean? Are you feeling? Don't assume. Verify. Number 3, avoid rushing to conclusions. Listen without judging. If what they say doesn't quite add up, keep listening. Proverbs 18 verse 13 tells us, to answer before listening, that is folly and shame. Don't answer until you've heard all that they have to say, because often when we hear more, it may make more sense. Number 4, refrain from putting the other person on the defensive. Listen without correcting, countering, or devaluing, saying, that's not the way it was, or what did you expect, or you're just being silly and overly sensitive. Things like that kill any chance at real communication. And finally, number 5, accept their perceptions and feelings as valid expressions of a valued person. Validate the person you are speaking with by saying, if I understand you correctly, you're thinking or feeling, am I right? As we repeat what we heard, we give them the knowledge that we are listening and we do care. And we give them a chance to clarify anything that we may not understand. Ask them to help you get on the same page with them, saying, based on what you've shared with me, I can see why you would feel that way. Will increase their willingness to consider our thoughts and accept the possible solutions or advice that we might have to offer. If you truly want to win people to Christ and influence them, learn to listen to them. You know, we all want to be heard, and there isn't much that makes me angrier than knowing that people aren't listening. 2 quick examples. As most of you know, I do not own a mobile phone, but all of our area schools have begun to sell their tickets to all their events through an organization that deals with mobile-only entry to events and the schools have stopped taking cash payments. For someone like me, that creates a problem. Some schools, including our own Toquoy Creek, have figured out ways to work with folks like me. Others have refused entry. Now that sounds a little discriminatory to me, but that's a subject for another day. If you don't have a mobile device, you don't get in. Recently, we found out that there's another ticket selling site that allows people to also print their tickets from their computer, and they can present that printed ticket at the gate. So Deb contacted the company that our local schools use with this question: what allowances can you make for people who do not own a mobile device? Their responses showed that they didn't listen. Here's a link for the tickets to tonight's game. You can order them and display them on your mobile device to gain entry. They weren't listening. On another occasion, I was traveling with a group of students and parents, and we arrived at a motel where we had guaranteed reservations around midnight. They had given our rooms away, and the closest rooms they could find for us were over 300 miles away. This happened in Florence, South Carolina. When we contacted the corporate office about it, they sent us a form letter apologizing for our unfortunate circumstances in Florence, Kentucky. Grr. Bottom line, be a good listener. Listen to God and His Word, and do what He says. And listen to those that God puts on your path. In both cases, you're going to learn something. And speaking of learning something, we all have an opportunity to learn something about what it feels like to be on the other side of a shoebox. As tomorrow night at 6 p.m., we will be having a shoebox recipient with us at the Village Church as we celebrate another year of Operation Christmas Child. I hope you'll make plans to join us and bring a friend. The event Saturday night from 6 until 7 p.m. And be sure to join us for worship Sunday morning at 9 and 11. We hope to see you in person, but if you have to join us online, know that our tech team has been hard at work this week to fix the issues that we had last Sunday. You can catch us on Facebook or YouTube at the Village Church at World Golf Village. Have a great weekend, church. Thanks for listening and watching.